Welcome to the Kairos Kids podcast. I'm your AI host, Kronos, and I'm so excited to have you join us today for a conversation with Happy, a dedicated volunteer with Kairos Children's Fund,
Right.
about the incredible work they're doing in the Philippines. So, Happy, thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me, Kronos. It's always wonderful to get to share the stories of these amazing kids.
Now, Happy Kairos Children's Fund, I know, is committed to helping children in the Philippines graduate from college, but you've told me even though education is technically tuition free there,
Mm-hmm.
many families are
Oh,
struggling.
yeah, absolutely.
Can you kind of paint us a picture of what these families are facing?
Yeah, absolutely. So imagine, if you will, a child walking a mile and a half to school, their stomachs growling from hunger because they couldn't afford breakfast. They arrive tired, maybe a little embarrassed because their uniform is worn and doesn't quite fit right. And then they have to try and focus on learning while their classmates have new notebooks and pencils and they're making do with scraps. It's heartbreaking.
Wow, that really pulls at the heartstrings. I mean, it's hard to believe that. These are the circumstances that so many kids are facing just to get an education.
Yeah.
It's like they're already starting off a step behind.
Exactly. And it's not just about the physical hardships. These kids are often teased and bullied because of their situation. They might feel ashamed or resentful, and it creates this negative association with school. They might start to hate going, and their grades can suffer. It becomes a vicious cycle.
Yeah, it sounds like even just the most basic things that we take for granted here, school supplies or a decent lunch,
Yeah.
can be a major hurdle for these kids. What kind of impact does that have on their ability to learn and succeed?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, just think about it. If you're constantly hungry or worried about being teased, how can you possibly focus on your studies? These basic needs need to be met before any real learning can happen.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
So what is Kairos Children's Fund doing to address these challenges
Mm.
and ensure that these children have a real shot at a brighter future?
Well, first and foremost, we provide financial assistance to help families cover those essential costs. Things like lunch and snacks, uniforms, school supplies, and transportation. It's not a huge amount, about 300 pesos for elementary and high school students, and 350 pesos for senior high and college students.
So that's about what, 5 or 6 US dollars?
Yep.
Probably less than what many of us spend on a coffee each day. But for these families, it can mean the difference between a child going to school hungry or having a nutritious meal.
Exactly. And beyond that, we offer mentoring and discipleship programs to support the kids emotionally and spiritually. We want to help them develop strong character, build their self-esteem, and discover their full potential. We want them to know that they're valued and loved.
It sounds like Kairos is really going above and beyond just handing out money. You're investing in the whole child.
That's exactly right. We believe that education is about more than just academics. It's about empowering children to become responsible, compassionate, and successful individuals.
And I understand you're already seeing some amazing results from this approach.
We are. We have 4 Kairos kids who are now teaching Sunday school. Can you imagine the impact they're having on their communities? And 3 more are graduating from senior high school this year. These are kids who, without Kairos, might not have even finished elementary school. It's incredibly rewarding to see them thriving.
That is truly inspiring. It sounds like you're lighting a fire in these kids, and that fire is spreading to
Yeah.
their families and communities.
That's the dream, Kronos. But the need is still so great. There are so many more children out there who deserve these same opportunities. It really is. And when we talk about education, it's important to remember that its impact extends far beyond the individual child. It ripples out to families, communities, and even the world at large.
You know, I was just going to say that we've been focusing on Kairos's work in the Philippines, but this issue of access to education is a global one, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the research paints a pretty compelling picture of just how powerful education can be in tackling some of the world's biggest challenges. For instance, did you know that if all students in low-income countries had basic reading skills, an estimated 171 million people could escape extreme poverty?
171 million. That's hard to even fathom. That's like wiping out the entire population of, say, Bangladesh just by teaching people to read.
Exactly. And it's not just about lifting people out of poverty. Education has this ripple effect on so many other areas. Take healthcare, for example. Studies have shown that when women have access to education, they tend to have fewer children and have them later in life, leading to healthier outcomes for both mothers and babies.
That makes sense. Education empowers women to make informed decisions about their own health and family planning.
Right, and it goes even deeper than that. Do you know that in some regions, a single additional year of schooling for women decreased their chances of dying in a natural disaster by a whopping 18%? 18%. That's incredible. I never would have guessed that education could have such a direct impact on survival rates in those situations.
It's pretty remarkable, isn't it? And it highlights how education isn't just about learning facts. It's about giving people the tools and knowledge they need
Yeah.
to navigate the complexities of life, including things like disaster
It's
preparedness.
like giving them a shield against the unexpected.
Exactly. And it doesn't stop there.
Mm.
Research has also shown a strong correlation between education and reduced stunting rates in children. Stunting, which is impaired growth and development due to malnutrition, can have lifelong consequences. But when mothers are educated, they're better equipped to provide their children with proper nutrition. It's a simple intervention with a huge payoff.
So we're talking about breaking cycles of poverty, improving health outcomes, and even mitigating the impact of natural disasters all through education. You got it. And let's not forget the social impact. Studies have shown that education plays a role in reducing violence, both at home and in communities. When girls, in particular, are educated, they're more likely to understand their rights, advocate for themselves, and challenge harmful traditional practices.
It's about empowering them to create a safer and more just world.
Precisely. And while Kairos Children's Fund is focused on the Philippines, the lessons we're learning and the impact we're seeing are relevant on a global scale.
You know, as we're talking about these incredible benefits of education, I'm reminded of those kids we talked about earlier, the ones walking miles to school on an empty stomach. It makes the work that Kairos is doing feel even more urgent.
It is urgent. Every child deserves the chance to reach their full potential, and education is the key. We believe that with the right support, these kids can not only change their own lives, but also inspire positive change in their communities and beyond.
And those discipleship programs you mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
how do those fit into this bigger picture of empowering these kids?
They're a crucial piece of the puzzle. These programs are about more than just religious instruction. They focus on character development, ethical leadership, and social responsibility. We want these kids to grow into compassionate individuals who are committed to making a positive difference in the world.
It's about giving them the tools they need, not just to succeed in life, but to lead meaningful lives.
Exactly. And we're seeing firsthand how these programs are shaping the next generation of leaders in the Philippines.
It's truly inspiring work, but as you mentioned earlier, the need is still so great. There are so many more children out there who need this kind of support.
There are, and that's why we're always looking for more people to join us in this mission.
So for our listeners who are feeling inspired right now,
Yeah.
what's the best way for them to get involved and support Kairos Children's Fund?
The easiest way is to visit our website, kairoschildrens.fund. There you'll find all sorts of ways to get involved. You can sponsor a child, make a one-time donation, or even volunteer your time and skills. Every little bit helps.
That's right. Every contribution makes a difference in the life of a child.
Yeah.
And think about the ripple effect we've been talking about. Your support could help lift a family out of poverty, empower a young woman to become a leader, or even save a life in the face of a natural disaster.
It's true. We often talk about investing in the future, and there's no better investment than in the education of a child.
You know, happy as we wrap up our conversation today,
Mhm.
one thing that really sticks with me, we talk about the struggles these kids are facing, but
Hmm.
also their resilience, their potential, and the amazing things they're achieving with the support of Kairos.
Yeah, that's what keeps me going, Kronos. These kids are so full of hope and determination. They just need a little help to overcome those obstacles and unlock their potential.
And that's where our listeners come in. By supporting Kairos Children's Fund, they can be a part of something truly special, something that has the power to transform lives and build a brighter future.
It's true. Every dollar donated, every hour volunteered, every prayer offered makes a difference. It's a collective effort, and we need all hands on deck.
So let me ask you this. Happy, what are some of the most urgent needs right now? What can our listeners do to make an immediate impact?
Well, we're currently fundraising for a leadership seminar that would be incredibly beneficial for our scholars. It would help them develop essential skills like communication, teamwork, and problem solving, skills that will serve them well throughout their lives.
It's about equipping them to be leaders, not just in their careers, but in their communities as well.
Exactly. We also hope to hold summer workshops where the kids can explore their creativity through instruments and art. These workshops provide a much-needed outlet for self-expression and can help them discover hidden talents.
It's about nurturing their whole being, their minds, their hearts, their spirits.
That's right. And of course, there are always unexpected medical needs that arise. Many of these families have no safety net, so even a minor illness or injury can be financially devastating.
It's about providing that safety net
Mm-hmm.
and giving them peace of mind.
Exactly. We rely heavily on the generosity of our sponsors to meet these ongoing needs. Whether it's a recurring monthly donation or a one-time gift, every contribution helps us get closer to our goal of ensuring that every child has the opportunity to thrive.
So, to our listeners, if you've been touched by the stories you've heard today and you want to be a part of this incredible movement, please visit kairoschildrens.fund to learn more and get involved. Your support can make a world of difference.
Thank you, Kronos. And to everyone listening, thank you for your time and your heart. Together, we can empower these children to build a brighter future for themselves, their families, and the world.
Well said, Happy. This has been a truly inspiring conversation. Thank you again for joining us today and sharing the incredible work of Kairos Children's Fund. And to our listeners, until next time, this is Kronos signing off.
Courage and the compassion to step out in faith and meet those needs.